How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Masters of Horror, Season 1, Episode 9, The Fair-Haired Child. This is directed by William Malone, which I'll admit, I wasn't super familiar with him. I looked him up, and he did the House on Haunted Hill remake. He did a movie called Fear.com, and a movie called Parasomnia, I believe that's how you pronounce it. The episode was pretty good, so I'll probably have to look up his other work and see what he's about. He also directed a few of the later episodes of Tales from the Crypt, so that's pretty cool. But I will say, if you guys are more familiar with William Malone than I am, feel free to tell me your movie recommendations from this guy, because you know, I'm a big horror geek, but yeah, I wasn't super familiar with him. This movie stars Lindsay Pulsipher as your main girl there, Tara. And let's just go ahead and dive into the plot. I'm not going to do any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what this episode's about. We open up with this girl at school, Tara, and she's kind of the outsider girl, the one who gets bullied and doesn't have as many friends, and so she's a little bit of a social reject. She walks home after school, goes through the woods, and you see this van start to follow her, and in quite a shocking scene, the van goes really fast and just plows into her, knocking her out, and the mysterious guy in the van picks her up and puts her in the back of it and drives her away to a mysterious location. She wakes up in a hospital room. This nurse is with her and explains that she's actually a few states away. They found her unconscious and they're nursing her back to health. Okay, it's a weird situation, but at least she appears to be safe now. Well, the nurse starts asking her a few questions, and the questions get a little odd and specific, and she knows the girl's name already, which she says, oh, I just saw it on one of your books, but she knows she didn't write it in any of her books, so even though she thought she was safe, she begins to think that maybe this isn't really a hospital. She bursts out of her room and sees that the room is made to look like a hospital, but outside she's actually in an abandoned music school, which is a pretty weird and cool setting, you know. And outside she finds that the nurse isn't really a nurse, and the guy who ran her over is also there. They eventually catch up to her and toss her in the basement, you know, the basement door, but they've removed the stairs so you can't reach it because it's like almost a whole story above you. Now she's stuck in there, and it's this big, cool, creepy basement. You get several creepy things you might find in the basement, but if you look close, they acknowledge it's a music school, so there's like old instruments and music stands and cases to instruments and stuff, so it is a really cool, creepy set. You gotta love these haunted, abandoned basement places. It's just a nice classic setting. She explores there for a while. She hears something, grabs a poker as a weapon, and then sees the noise is actually coming from this other kid that they've got in their basement, and he's hanging by his neck, so she of course gets him down, but the kid doesn't remember anything. He has amnesia and is also mute. He can write things in the dust, however, and he says his name is Johnny, but he doesn't really know who he is or how he got there. So the two become friends and they explore the basement, and they eventually find written warnings all over the basement. The first of which is, get out before it wakes up. And then the final one they eventually find is, beware the fair-haired child, which is, of course, where the episode gets his name. And as the episode goes on, you begin to see just what exactly this couple upstairs is doing, what kind of creepy, dark stuff they're messing with, and you get to learn about them as characters, and while you see them upstairs, you also see the main characters downstairs trying to figure out what's going on and trying to avoid the mysterious creature that the warning talks about in the basement, who is this fair-haired child that the note talks about. So you do get some classic haunted-looking locations. You do get a really cool creature, and you do get some pretty cool stuff. A great location, great creature, and a bit of a mystery. Now, I do want to say, having brought all that up, this is kind of weird that this isn't Lucky McGee's episode. This is William Malone. Lucky McGee in this season did an episode called Sick Girl, which is a pretty good episode. But if you look at Lucky McGee's movie, The Woods, you have a young female lead who's kind of an outsider. You have a haunted school. You have the adults where there's something up with them, and everybody's a little bit off on the adults. I would not be surprised if this script was written for Lucky McGee, but he chose to do Sick Girl instead, because this really has a lot of elements from Lucky McGee's The Woods, but this is William Malone doing this, so I'm wondering if at the last moment the two traded scripts or something. It's kind of weird. But that being said, William Malone does a good job on this, and Lucky McGee did a good job on Sick Girl, but it's just kind of odd that this isn't Lucky McGee's episode. But that being said, diving into specifics, I already talked about the cool set, and I alluded briefly to the monster, but let's expand upon that. The monster, if you have the DVD of Season 1, he's right there in the bottom corner, and I think if you have the individual episodes, he's really big on the cover of this one. He's a really cool creature design. I'd say one of the more iconic creatures from the show. He's really pale with stringy hair and a big, big face. And he's got glowing hollow eyes and sort of an ash cross on his head. He's, it's upside down obviously because it's horror, but really cool, like really childlike, but also like an alien. And it's a really cool creature, and I do like, how a lot of movies nowadays, they want to be mature and they want to keep everything in the shadows, yet I'm so tired of these, vague yet menacing shadow figures, and I really do love when they take the time to, make a cool creature, and they show it to us, and of course, not every effect with this creature works, but I do love that they took the time to actually show us this creature. It was really, really nice. And the combination of a cool creature, yet it's a little weird looking, and this really cool atmosphere, I definitely recommend this to, like, say, Conjuring fans, just the atmosphere with the weird yet memorable creature in it. If you're Conjuring fans, check this one out. Now, that being said, while I did like a lot of the tone and I like the creature, the plot of this is relatively simple. She gets to the basement really quick. There's not a lot of messing around in the haunted school. And when she's in the basement, there's a bit of a plot element that comes in halfway through the thing, and it's kind of easy to guess. And I didn't necessarily guess exactly how this would end, but it wasn't like there was any giant big surprise, so it does kind of, the plot, be relatively straightforward. You kind of know in general where this is going, and the ending is a little bit of a surprise, but not too shocking, so it does play out plot-wise kind of standard, but not really bad. It's just nothing super special. And another kind of negative is the editing can be a little choppy during the intense scenes, but it's not that bad. It is worth noting, though. But yeah, that's really the thing with this, if you were to rank the Masters of Horror episodes, this would probably be one of those that comes in the middle somewhere. Not something to really blow you away, what it does well with the atmosphere, the setting, and the creature, it really does well. But yeah, it's nothing super big or revolutionary, especially, the plot is relatively standard. But that being said, it does what it does well. It's one of those, like I talked about with the incident on and off a mountain road episode, the Don Coscarelli one. Really well constructed, even if it's not the best thing ever. It's well made, and I'd have to say, granted how some of the episodes in Season 2 turned out, I will take a solid, well-made episode, even if it doesn't blow me away. And that's one of them, and I overall did enjoy it, even if it wasn't, the biggest thing ever. I still had fun with this episode. And I think I will look into William Malone as a director more. I don't think I've seen any of his movies, and after this I am curious enough, so I guess that means I liked it maybe a little more than I let on, now that I'm like, I should go check out his movies. But what it does well, and that's pretty good. I'll try to get to more of these quicker. I'm really digging these, and I'm looking around. I should cover the rest of Season 1 pretty soon, because these are pretty good, and there's a lot of them that are surprising, and I haven't actually seen every single one from Season 1. There's a few left I have to watch. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You are really helping the channel out. So to everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. Relevant playlist on the bottom if you want to see more videos like this. When I cover movies, I do like 95% horror on here, so I'm sure I got more videos that you'll like. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom.